Scott and his company member from Telluride to help me come in, and I'll go through that. And it's my time to speak and stuff. But we have a lot of, we hope really expand the community in the best sense, because I believe that this is the last best place in Colorado that hasn't been screwed up.
Yeah,
And we have an opportunity to help it along, and it's really, really nice.
so it'd be nice. I remember back when they had a package deal in Rio. Stay at Rio and then go.
Yes. Yeah.
I always had my brain about the iced coffee inside it.
Well, it's really.
I had no idea.
Well, I got to play this last April, Tom Weiskopf's golf course in the Bahamas. He designed. And it reminded me a lot about playing Grandote. Because Tom Weiskopf, one of my golfing friends, he goes, Aristotle, there's a trick to playing Tom Weiskopf courses. Okay. We'll talk later.
Yep. Thank you and welcome to our BOCC meeting for March 25th. If you rise and Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry about my voice.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval.
Commissioners, no change to the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
First and second, do we have any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Wardell?
Yes.
And Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And consent agenda.
All right, Commissioner, on the agenda for today, I have the March 18th meeting minutes. I have new hire for the Huerfano County Business Center, Deborah Aguirre, a new hire for the Teaching Center, Santiago Ruiz. Sarah Ortiz completed her probationary period, again, Huerfano County Jail. And another new hire for detention, Xavier Brown. We have the amendment of the resignation date for District DeWolf, Veteran Service Officer, and a resignation DHS for Morgan Vosberg.
Okay.
I make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
First and second, any other discussion?
Yes. I would just like to say thank you to Destry for his years of service.
Absolutely. Call for a vote.
Commissioner Wardell?
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain? Yes. Chairman Boyd?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Now we're here to public comment. Did everyone sign up that wanted to speak today? Get on the list. Seems how we have so many, we do have to limit our comment time to 3 minutes each. So we try to make sure you're within that time period. Grant Bonicelli.
I'm here today in
Please state your name and address.
Grant Bonicelli, 702 County Road 358. I would request that you table any action items today with the Chairmount Park. Last week on Thursday, I believe it was Thursday or Friday, you guys put a post out reverting us to solicitation 2023-08. That solicitation was closed October 30th, 2023 at 4 p.m. The fact that we are here discussing a possible new concessionaire for Chairmount Park, it just blows me away. I don't know how we're here yet. One other thing I'd like to address. You guys don't have any parking up there. You have one parking lot. With the numbers that are in his proposal, where do you think people are going to park? 4 of those parking lots are part of the Panadera Loop. The other is part of the Mercantile. You guys have maybe enough parking for 40 spots that are yours. Another discussion as far as water, I don't know where Brett thinks he's going to pull water from. Right now, there are 2 possible subdivisions in the area, and they were denied by the water district because there's no water. They work with PSC in the winter because there's enough flow because no residents were there. In the summer, around 4th of July, our water system is at max capacity. They cannot take any more water. There are no EQRs done for any of this work to put these tiny homes up on the hill. There's no EQRs. There's no water. I don't know if that's been looked into. At the same time, there's no water meters that you guys have existing. They've all been pulled. There's no infrastructure. As far as the waste that has to be brought from those tiny homes, if you're talking of operating these tiny homes in the winter on that mountain, you're going to have snowcat or something that can go up there and pull the waste out of these things, transfer the waste down our mountain, and have a pump station, which I'm not sure if it aligns with the Los Animas County Health Department. And I'm going to be having conversations with the Gachera Water District of how they think that that should be handled as well. But that seems like a far oversight. Carl, you brought up on Sunday that the county is, I guess there was a study done that there was not enough hospitality in the county. We've been getting some numbers from Gachera between Yellow Pine, Gachera Inn, the Bed and Breakfast Riverside, Dodgton Creek, rooms at the Yacht Club. We've got almost 100 rooms right there within a couple hundred yards. There's more than enough hospitality. I looked at some of the numbers down here in Walsenburg, and you guys don't surpass us by much. And you guys are right off I-25. And I have called the Rambler today, and I have called the hotels, and I have pulled those numbers. They're currently operating 58 rooms out there. So when we look at everything compiled together, with this being said that there's a shortage of rooms, I do not see it. The numbers don't add up. At the same time, I am still confused as how the meeting minutes from last year, January 23rd, 2024, when you guys made the motion to give the ski resort back to the Gachera Foundation, and that made front page of the Huerfano Journal on January 25th of 24. Huerfano County Commissioners vote to return Gachera Mountain Park to the foundation. The last meeting, Carl, you said there were no conditions made. February 27th, there were conditions made for that. And at that time, it was up to the council to come up with the directive of how which that deed is transferred back to the park. And now it looks as today, with the action item you guys have, is to rescind those votes that were taken on that date, stating the transfer of that deed. Looks like what you guys are trying to do on it today. I think that you guys need to table this. I think you need to listen to the voices in the room. I think that PSC is able to make something happen up there with the support of the commissioners and giving them lease with a longer term so they can get their feet underneath them. They're doing this right now with a year-to-year lease. They're not eligible for some grants that are out there, nor do vendors want to work with them because they don't know if they're going to be there next year. If you extend their lease, the community, the grants, the vendors, everything will come together. Anything that Brett is proposing to do up there, PSC can do. If it comes down to mountain biking in the summer and zip lines and concerts, those are activities that we need to draw in the people. The last thing we need is more hospitality and more accommodations. And those activities can be done on behalf of PSC and the community. So whatever you do today, I sure hope that you table this vote and don't take any action. And please listen to the constituents of your county. Thank you.
Yes, Loveless.
Not here.
Hi, I'm Jess Lovelace. I am at 130 Baker Creek Court in Kuchera. First of all, thank you guys for letting me speak today. And thank you, Commissioner Wardell and City Administrator Carl Young for attending the town hall last weekend. I think we had some really productive discussion during that, and I hope that you guys were able to relay to the other commissioners some of the things that were brought about and discussed during that meeting. Last week, during the commissioner meeting, there was a item on the agenda for Huerfano County Asset Management Corporation. And it appears that Carl Young is the chief executive, and Commissioner Sporleader is acting chair, Commissioner Waddell is the director, Commissioner Chamberlain is the director. We also have Sherry Chamberlain as the secretary, Kim Trujillo as the treasurer, and Nathan Schultz as the county attorney. And under that agenda, line item 6, action items and project works, was the Kuchera Mountain Park lease purchase. Would you mind elaborating on what occurred during that meeting?
I would have to look back at my notes. I'm not even sure what you're.
I can't hear you.
I would have to look back at my notes. I'm not entirely.
No, can't hear you.
Sorry, I don't have a good voice today. I can't really give you any specifics right now.
You want me to? So we gave the commissioners updates on the projects that were listed there. The Kuchera Mountain Park project is tied to a couple of things, but the most important one that's timely at the moment is the replacement of the roof at the on the lower maintenance building. So we discussed with commissioners because Commissioner Waddell and Commissioner Chamberlain have never attended one of the asset management court meetings before, sort of what its purpose is, how it works, and sort of what we're going to be working on to bring to them, which is going to be a lease purchase agreement from the Asset Management Corporation to the county to fund the county's portion of that work.
Sorry, so who was the lease purchase for? Who was the business that would be supporting the county in that?
So the Huerfano County Asset Management Corporation is an enterprise of Huerfano County. It's a county-owned, controlled corporation. That's purpose is to assist with financing county projects.
Okay. So when you say lease purchase, you meant roof?
No,
Okay,
for simplicity's sake, it's a loan.
sorry.
For simplicity's sake, it's a loan.
Okay,
I'm
Okay.
oversimplifying there though.
okay. Thank you for clarifying that. You may get other questions about that. I also brought the opposition letter that I have, that you guys have discussed previously and that we've brought up before with the signatures of that. And so if you guys, I brought 4 of them for each of you. And I also wanted to ask that you table the resolution that has been discussed or that was listed here, resolution number 25-16, because of your votes last year, but also due to the discussion that happened at the town hall and the questions surrounding the lease purchase park, so that we can get more clarity about what's going on before you make this decision. Thanks.
Thank you.
Aristotle, Rouse.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aristotle Karras. I represent Scott Brown Realty, as well as myself. And thank you all for coming out to this. I had purchased Grandoti Golf Course in 2018 and was working through probably the most challenging things that we've ever faced in this county, such as the fire in 2018, then the flood in 2019, and then COVID. And I don't know of anybody else that had faced those three hard obstacles to get through with it. But I brought a letter that was signed by the two county commissioners, and the date of it was September 19th, 2017. And this was a letter of intent from the county to work with Scott Brown. I'll give it to you real quick. And for those of you who don't know, Scott Brown, we had held a county commissioner meeting. There was 54 people in attendance to work with him. He helped put in the ski area of Telluride. He started the Telluride Film Festival, largest film festival in the entire world. He helped start the Telluride Technology Festival. He helped put in the gondola, which was a free public transportation, is 100% green, got it put in for free off of grants, and it delivered 6 million people a year. And he also started the airport, put in the airport, built Mesa Airlines because United and American wouldn't fly into Telluride. And so he started Mesa Airlines, called up his friends with Beach Aircrafts in Kansas City, and they said, here's 4 planes, pay us when you can. He worked with the county and the hotel operators to buy every single empty seat on airplanes. They flew 2 flights a day on Friday and 2 flights a day on Monday to help bring in people to their community so that airlines was 100% profitable from day one. And Scott Brown and his team and myself have been working in this area since 2016, really. And we have come to the conclusion, Scott Brown and his team has also incorporated 4 towns and built 4 towns, which is pretty impressive. I don't know anybody that's really built one. But we found that it's the community that makes it all work. If you don't listen to the community, it's not going to work because your businesses are not going to thrive. You're not going to do everything with it. I believe that the community of Kachara and Levita and Walsenburg will really benefit from this. But this proposal that was given yesterday is very self-centered. It's offered, only a small percentage back to the county of 5%, which is, I think, a slap in the face. That's like giving you another tax. It's not considering the fact of anything else of there for the community. It's not moving. You're kind of giving him the real estate for free, and then you're allowing him to put up temporary tiny homes, which can be removed. He has absolutely zero risk. Who has the risk is the community. The community is taking on the risk if you accept that. Then if he doesn't, he can then take the tiny homes, which he can collect from investors, which is in his proposal, that he would take 30% from the.
Wrap it up, we have quite a few more people, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Sure, I'll wrap up. And I think that we would like the opportunity as Scott Brown Realty and to come in with another proposal back to the county and create jobs and create a long-term impact for the county. And we'd like another opportunity for that. And I wasn't even aware that opportunity existed. So if his request for proposal is accepted, I would like to also be able to submit a request and propose another one, which the county had given us a letter of intent before, and we were here ready to dump millions of dollars into this community and create a lot of jobs for everybody. So I would love to have that opportunity, and thank you for your time. And if there's any other questions, I'm here to answer them. But
Okay.
we have a great team that can help with this, and it's all community based. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Chrissy Harris, I have 3D report. Can you hear me? And Levita since 2020. I'm a Colorado native. I've been in the ski business since I got out of high school. Worked for Vail Associates, Breckenridge, Sunlight Ski Area. We owned my husband and I worked at a condo complex up there. Worked at Wolf Creek for 10 years. Wolf Creek has no houses, no condos, and it's got snow. So that's why it's been so successful. I was vice president of Historic Colorado Preservation. Been on the historic board, been on county planning at Pagosa Springs. And what you have up there is an absolute jewel. People are sick of paying $10,000 for a week and waiting in lines. The only ski area proposal that has worked in the last 30 years, and a lot of money has been put into other ski areas, is the Silverton ski area, which is a niche operation, and people come from a long way to go there. And you have such a beautiful niche operation now that has not been in Colorado for years. I mean, my dad was a veteran, and our first ski area tickets were for Loveland, and they were $3.50. And that was when, I'm a ski bum, and there's no more ski bums. They can't even afford to live in these big places that Vail Associates and the other one have. So people like skiing at a hometown area. You don't need those other people. You've got people that have been here for generations and they love the area. And it's really what Colorado used to be. And listen to these people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles Morris.
Hi, my name is Charles Morris. I live at 112 West Virginia in Levita. I'll keep it quick. I think y'all should table anything with Kachera Mountain Park. I've heard from Carl Young a few times in these meetings about how, the vote to give the park back to the foundation can only be done in arbitration or whatever, a bunch of technical things, that it was a vote to look into it. It was a vote to give it back to the foundation. And I think using those sort of technicalities is exactly what sows distrust in local government. And so I hope that y'all will take that into consideration and not use any excuses and really look back on that, because this body did vote to return the deed to the foundation.
Thank you. All that far.
Yeah. Valerie.
Good morning. My name is Valerie Eisman. I live at 215 West Garland in La Vita. There's a couple items that I think are concerning today, and I'll ask the commissioners to table action item D, the resolution 25-16. This is in regards to the Cachera Mountain Park. My main point for today is that the agreement that happened back in 2024 to transfer the deed back to the Cachera Foundation, this resolution is to cancel that transfer back to the Cachera Foundation. I find that very concerning. It doesn't say anything in this resolution in regards to a private entity that could come in and profit off of the Cachera Mountain Park. I strongly disagree with anything that has to do with a company coming in and profiting off of a public park that should be open to everyone for public use. I also find it concerning that there's an action item H for a hunting lease license, or sorry, a hunting lease agreement for the Thorn Ranch. And when we're talking about maybe, having a company come in and, lease a public property to give back money to the county, this agreement for leasing a hunting lease is for $2,000 a year. When you're talking about an outfitter that is coming in and making a lot more money than that, the Thorn Ranch is 1,700 plus acres. You could definitely get way more money than $2,000 a year for a hunting outfitter to come in. You could probably get $20,000, $30,000. And I just want to make the connection that, if you're trying to make money by a company coming in and, utilizing our public lands, I just don't see how $2,000 for the Thorn Ranch, it's enough to, justify these people coming in and using our public lands, basically. So that's my most concerning part of all of this. Besides all that, I use the Cachera Mountain Park every year. Me and my husband skin to the top of the mountain every year. And in terms of snow, it's just never going to be what it used to be. Even, we've seen it try time and time again, only to fail. And so, the idea that this is going to be a ski resort anytime in the future is just not a viable option. So, I understand that they want to do zip lines and I understand they want to do accommodations, but we don't need any more accommodations. It's never going to be a ski area again. So beyond what it is right now. And the Panadero Ski Corp has been doing a great job. The Cachera Foundation is doing a fantastic job. They deserve, and this was already agreed upon last year, to return the deed to the Cachera Foundation. So I ask you, please table this, or even just outright don't approve the resolution that's on the action items today. So thank you.
Patricia Savage. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. My name is Patricia Savage. I reside at 83 West Brook Drive, Cachera. Born and raised in Trinidad, a homeowner for 60 plus years and currently a resident. I would like to request that the resolution pertaining to Cachera Mountain Park be tabled. Thank you.
Anna Lee.
My name is Anna Lee Hickey. I live at 2261 County Road 430 in La Vita. A lot of what I believe has already been said here today. I want to, I guess what I want to do is really point out what I think the general consensus is. And that is that we voters voted in new commissioners because we did not like the way that things were going previously. In part because it feels like, now I don't know if it's true. I understand it's hard to be on a board and there's a lot, sure. There's a lot more that goes on than any of us will ever know. And I understand that. I serve on a board and have for years. It has been appearing for years now that backdoor dealings are happening. Favors are being made. And most importantly, that transparency is not what's been shown to the public. And when we voted in new government this last round, our hope and intention was to see you be honest and clear and transparent with the public. When we look at, I'm just going to go back to Aristotle, actually. I'm going to go back to 2016 when this whole thing happened with the mountain park, right? The community came together. They raised the money. They partnered with Huerfano County because we thought that was a good way to make a public park. We all know that the last 40 years, it's been failure after failure, right? So in 2016, the county agrees to take it as a park and make it a park. Well, heck, it turns out that in 2017, they were already in negotiations for a private entity. And then again, a couple of years ago, and again now. That does not make us trust that you were going to stand by your word for the original intent, which was to make it and leave it a county park. Last year, the foundation wrote you asking for the park back, in part because they feel like they can be more present up there and be the ones to be stewards to the original intent. I know that you all have done a lot of good work for the park, and I don't want to ignore that, but I think that was the intent of the foundation. This board voted to do so twice, and then the Huerfano Journal reported on it 3 times. The county never said that that wasn't the case. You stood by for a year, and as soon as the heat gets turned up around this whole situation, bam, there's a resolution on the table to reverse or cancel the vote. That does not look good to the public, regardless of your intent. It looks bad to the public. It makes us feel like we can't trust what's happening. I'm going to touch on a little bit of what Val said. I looked over everything with the hunting lease that's coming up on your agenda today as well. I saw the technicality. I saw where you can certainly do exactly what you plan to do today. However, it was marketed as an ag lease with one little itty bitty sentence at the bottom that said the lessee may do some hunting, or their assigns can do some hunting with written approval from the county commissioners. Again, it was marketed as an ag lease, and now you're going to give a $2,000 a year lease to a commercial hunting outfitter. Again, I understand technicalities. I've heard Carl talk about technicalities over and over and over again. It doesn't make us trust what you're doing. Just be open and honest. Technicalities don't mean anything to the people. I trust that you guys are going to do the right thing. We're all here. I know we've been chewing your ear for the last several weeks. I trust that you're going to do the right thing, which will be to start with tabling. I would like to see you table both votes on both the hunting lease and the mountain park. But I know your intent is good, and we just need you to show that to us.
Jim Littlefield.
I have a letter to the board of commissioners, and may I approach you and hand this out? Thank you. Yes. My name is Jim Littlefield. I live at 58 Cedar Ridge in Kachara. as property owners in this county, my wife Peg and myself, for over 25 years, and regular volunteers and donors at the Cachara Mountain Park since before it was formed, we feel qualified to offer comment on the park's future. First, as donors, we, along with hundreds of others, from large ones, tens of thousands of dollars each, to those that gave what they could, whether it was in thousands, hundreds, or less, all believe in the park and its progress. Many of us were incensed to recently learn that our county government is considering a proposal from Buckhorn Ridge Outfitters. Our first thought was, here we go again. In 21-22, it was a proposal to bring Moss Adventures in. They labored for months and spent speculative monies at the park in partnership with Pandero Ski Court, hoping to do some things to help and maybe be a part of it. Meanwhile, the county considered them for months and finally kicked them to the curb after receiving considerable community input. In 2023, the county issued another RFP, 2023-08, seeking an operator for the park. Despite PSC being the only proven operator of the park based on their on-site experience, no decision was made to award them the long-term agreement that they sought to secure via that RFP, their grants and all the things that they were trying to do, including getting Lift 4 finished, restarted. The Cachara Foundation then issued a request to the Board of County Commissioners, probably out of frustration, asking that CMP be returned to CF because they felt that the public was not being well served by the park being owned by the county. Despite votes by the BOCC to get the agreement prepared and return the park, it has never happened. When citizens attending BOCC meetings trying to gain insight into why no long-term agreement for PSC was being issued and further why the park was not being returned to CF per the agreement, we were stonewalled, delayed, lied to, and at times received comments from commissioners at public meetings like, and I quote, "Returning the park to Cachara Foundation would be a terrible idea." That commissioner's gone. We all worked hard as voters to make sure that happened. I thought that was ridiculous. "You folks don't know what's really happening." That's another quote from them. Okay, well, we're here to be informed. Inform us, be transparent. We're in consultation with our lawyers. We can't discuss this. Really? The Cachara Mountain Park, Pandero Ski Corp, you're talking with your lawyers? PSC is unsafe with lift maintenance. We've issued a cease and desist to them. What BS? That was an outsider that had an axe to grind with that place. You ended up talking with the Cachara Tram Board, not Cachara, the Colorado Tram Board, and they said that was hogwash. What are we doing as commissioners? We have no business trying to run that park. Give it back to CF. That was another direct quote from one of the commissioners at that time before you took the vote. Meanwhile, the BOCC continued not being transparent, not responding to CF, keeping PSC from doing vitally needed maintenance work on that lift. We almost lost the winter season. Fortunately, we fired up the ski bus. But they were trying to return that lift to service. You impeded their ability to keep providing the experiences at the park that the public seems to desire and like. Then we find buried in the BOCC agenda for today's meeting that you are planning to act on a new resolution, 25-16, that claims that the CMP is essential to Huerfano County, that the park is not for sale, that the transfer of CMP back to CF is canceled, and that the CMP will remain a county park. What a demonstration of how inept management of the CMP has been under Huerfano County. These actions are inappropriate and 2 years too late. What have you been doing? I know you all weren't here, but the chair was here through much of it since 23. You know what's gone on. You sat in those votes. You voted. You're not being transparent. Have you really considered another concessionaire at CMP since last August while simultaneously not providing PSC with a long-term agreement and not informing the public? Is this potential concessionaire really going to have 25 tiny homes in that little 50-acre park? Zip lines, other unidentified activities, a hotel, a restaurant, large concerts and events? We don't want all that stuff. Meanwhile, through all this neglect and lack of transparency on the part of the BOCC, PSC, the nonprofit operating at the park has continued to deliver a wonderful year-round experience to the public. We dwell on the skiing. It's really also disc golf. It's hiking. It's mountain biking. It's all of those other things that go on up there. Jeremy works tirelessly. He mows the disc golf course week after week. It's free to the public. They enjoy it. Archery competitions, running events, small entertainment. I emphasize small entertainment events, all in keeping with the original and updated master plan for the park, which you folks helped pay for, and the update for that. PSC has done all of this despite nothing short of ongoing interference and roadblock from the BOCC. Look at the attached photo, and I've attached a photo here of Fun Fridays for Kids, free, a week ago last Friday. They're having a great time. They do it year in and year out. We make that a success. And that's for our Huerfano County kids. Give PSC a long-term agreement. Stop shopping with CMP for the next great commercial hope for our small 50-acre public park. 150 plus people turned out Sunday, and thank you to one commissioner and the county administrator for showing up and answering what were some tough questions. Please heed the message. Be open with us and stop this nonsense. It's self-inflicted punishment on yourselves and the community. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for your comments. One thing that I do have to say, there's so much misinformation that you guys are operating off of. The emails that we've gotten and has been over the top, and it's amazing what people can pull out of what isn't even happening yet. What's going on is we put it into PSCs and Brett to be able to work together and see what they could pull together as a proposal. It's a proposal to bring to us. We don't even have all that yet. We've seen little bits and pieces during the transaction or the possibilities, but we don't have that. We've said this to multiple people multiple times, and it's not that it's not happening. We're not selling the property. So anyway, the thing is that you guys have get on the social media and start ranting into places that are completely fabricated. And so when we have a proposal from the community up there, or that's when we'll have something tangible to stand on. This proposal, or this 2516, all that is doing is we were trying to state exactly what you guys were saying. We love that park. We love the place. I've been around here all my life. I understand that is a jewel of Colorado, of the southern Colorado area. So we just want to say it's not for sale. It's not. This is nothing more than saying we're doing the work that we want to do, or we have to do, to be able to get it going into a further, into where there's a proposal to be able to brought up, and we can decide at that point. That's when more public comment. That's when things can move more at that time. So, okay.
We all know the park is not for sale, but one of the original plans that we saw, that Buckhorn Outfitters,
Come up to the microphone.
We all know that the park's not for sale, but one of the original plans proposed on behalf of Buckhorn Ridge Outfitters was a 50-year lease with 2 25-year automatic renewals. At that point, you are selling our park, and that is what people are referring to. Nobody thinks that you're actually selling the park, but when you're giving away, or someone is proposing a 100-year lease, that is my lifetime, that is my children's lifetime, and on to the next generation. So it might as well be sold. And I understand that there's been updated proposals out there, but we as the people have not seen them. We've all seen maybe the first 1 or 2 proposals. And things that aren't hearsay are what you guys have voted on last year. You made motions for them, Carl. That is not hearsay. So there's a lot.
And I have a voice right after that saying, don't believe everything you hear in the paper, because that's not what happened.
But there's a lot of what you guys go back to a social media hysteria. It's not. It's things that's happening, and you guys have a way around it. You're a liar.
Okay. All right, let me say something here. Grant, let me say something here. I read the email that you sent me, and the 50 years, it said with an option for automatic renewal. Now, words mean things in contracts. I know that.
Yeah.
So it's optional. So that
But
doesn't
what was
mean it
proposed?
automatically happens.
But what was proposed in his wording, an option for a automatic renewal.
Yeah,
Is what
which
she
means
was
it's an
after.
option. It's not
Yes.
automatic.
And one thing that is not,
So-
also not hearsay is the 2023-08 closing date of those proposals. That's in the paper. You guys referred us to it last week on Thursday. That was put out by your administration. And in there, when you go to the proposal that you guys reverted us back to, strictly states October 30th at 4 p.m. After that, any proposals will be non-void.
You just said
There
the proposals that come in, you conflict. That's where there's no transparency.
Can we,
here.
If I may address Grant's
We-
comment.
We did.
D
Let
has
me
had,
address Grant's comment.
Okay.
Grant,
Yes.
that proposal you keep referring to, we rejected. It is no longer on the table, so please quit bringing it back up.
Well,
The other-
it should be
nope.
closed because you haven't opened a new RFP.
There's no need to because he put his RFP in before it was closed. Now, with regards to anything that hasn't been seen to the public yet, it's not to the public because it's not been proposed to us yet.
Okay,
So
but
then
when you guys
we're
say
putting the
that-
cart before the horse, right? So let me finish my comment and I'll let you speak, and then I'll let Justin speak. Now, we will have we'll have more proposals to bring before the community, but we don't have them yet. Okay, when that happens, there will be public comment. There will be an actual meeting where you guys can come back to it and you can say yay or nay, you love it, you hate it, whatever. But right now, we're putting the cart before the horse, and we're not going for the 100-year lease. We're not going for the 50-year lease. That proposal was rejected.
Once again, that is the information that this public has seen.
I know.
And
Yes,
that's-
and it's
And
floating
Brett-
around
Brett
social
did-
media.
So,
That's enough.
it's, you know.
Brett
it's-
agreed to it too.
There's no substance to it. There is, because everything has been taken out of that proposal. From the tiny homes to the 4,280 nights, 8,000 visitors in the winter, and the 12,000 in the summer. There's no parking. That's all in his proposal. Those are the numbers and the facts that we speak to. Those are the numbers and the facts that I speak to, is what is in that business plan. Once I see another business plan on behalf of you guys or Brett, who cares little to show up to our meetings on Sunday or be here to listen to this right now. Go.
We don't need any more proposals.
You're done.
So
So there will be more proposals in the future. Okay,
Now, we're done. You close
Now,
that 23.
just do it your way or the highway, right?
I just want,
Saying, no, it's sell public land.
I'm not selling public
Well,
lands.
Keep it in order, please. Keep it in order.
I want to refer back to the original agreement that was signed in 2016 or 17 that went between the county commissioners at that time, the Kuchera Foundation, and the Fitzgeralds. And
The master plan, or are you talking about?
the agreement, the deed, there's two deeds and there's an agreement. That one deed is the mortgage essentially, and the other, there is an agreement. And at that very last paragraph, I'd like you all to go back and reread it, that any sale of the Kuchera Mountain Park, it allows the Kuchera Foundation to come back and renegotiate with you guys. So I hope that you take that into consideration.
So we have a bit of a problem. You guys are all asking us to give PSC an extended lease. We can't do that if we do not possess the land.
I can't hear you. The microphone's over there.
Yours is the area mic.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so we cannot give PSC an extended lease if we do not retain the land.
Sure.
So how, I mean, you're asking us to reject this resolution. The whole purpose of it is to give clarity for that, right? So how can we give them a a land lease if we don't own the land.
So D was online.
Give it back to him.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We have one more public comment.
Jordan.
Just wait.
Please, let him speak.
Okay.
Have someone online. Can you hear us? Hello.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hi, this is Dime Sandoval. I really don't have any skin in this game. I got onto the meeting because of a couple of other items on the agenda, but I do have a question because it's fascinating to me, the passion that's in that room. So kudos to you people for standing up for what you want. But I just want to understand better the talk of the County Asset Management Corporation. So Administrator Young, you made a comment, the Workflow County Asset Management Corporation is an enterprise away from accounting. Exactly what does that mean? Because if it's a county asset management corporation, are those county funds?
So thank you for that question. It's not away from the county, it's an enterprise of the county. Similar to a water sewer fund in a municipality, or in our case, GPID. It allows the county to conduct what the state constitution and state statute calls business-like activities. In this case, those business-like activities are acquiring or helping the county fund things.
Okay, in the live captions, it came across as that it's an enterprise away from accounting. So is that enterprise helping to fund something for this?
Yeah, so the county received a DOLA grant for the Cachar Mountain Park, and we're going to use the enterprise because there are some funds left over in there from our energy performance contracting project to help pay for the work to the lower maintenance building, and perhaps other portions of work need to be done on the Cachar Mountain Park for that grant.
Okay, thank you for that.
If you would like, I'm happy to share with you the formation documents and some other counties that have ones. Happy to show you what we're doing.
Okay, I believe you have my email address. I would like to see it. And so the reason I was on this meeting is rumor has it that there's some illegal issues going on over at DHS and the state's involved. Can you speak to that?
I am not aware of any issues or investigations that the state's running or anything illegal happening at DHS. If you have more information and want to share that, I'd be happy to look into it, ask questions, and figure out what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Go back.
May I answer the question that you just asked? I think is a very important question.
The question was, how can we be asking two things? Why are we saying hold the vote to cancel the vote from last year? And why are we simultaneously asking for PSC to get a long-term lease? The answer to that question stands partly in what Mr. Sporleader said, that the county decided that they were going to have Mr. McGraw work directly with PSC, which puts PSC in a really bad position, right? It's basically saying, hey, PSC, you've done all of this work. We want you to make the agreement with the developer. So, and it feels like so that you don't have to talk to the public about it, right? Like, oh, we're hands off on that. So the issue is that we don't feel like we can trust the board of commissioners to execute a long-term lease as we've all wanted and thought was going to happen for the last 2 years. They've been piecemealed on 3 months at a time, creating real instability in their ability to execute their programming and get funding. And so what's happening is we are thinking, wow, if you guys aren't going to just step up and give it to PSC, this long-term lease, and instead make them negotiate with a developer that has a conflicting goal than they do. And I'm not speaking for PSC because I'm not on PSC. Maybe they have aligned goals. I'm not sure. I do know that the public likes what PSC is doing. And we would like to see the BOCC, and we would have liked to have seen this for the last 2 years, given them a real lease instead of this piecemeal type lease. So now we're coming back and saying, and we've all been hanging on to this for a year, right? Waiting to see, are they going to do what they said they were going to do? Now that we feel like it looks like you're not going to do what you said you were going to do, then we think that our kind of our last resort is to say, well, a year ago, you said we'll give it back. Sheriff Foundation will do the lease with PSC. So that's the answer to that question, right? It's conflicting because we are conflicted watching what's been going on. You all have not given a long-term lease to PSC, and that could have been done a long time ago. We wouldn't even be here if that was the case. We all know that a for-profit thing is bound to fail. We all know that PSC is doing a great job. Why you are making PSC sit at the table with McGraw to work out their own deal to come to you, we don't understand that as the public. We don't understand that. We want either the long-term lease or you to return it to the foundation and let the foundation give them the long-term lease.
And you have the right to do that. You had the right to do that the whole time without this resolution. So this resolution, there's really no reason for it, other than for you to just take back what you voted on last year. Yes.
So real quickly, I'm about solutions and creating, transparency as well as collaboration. I want to know if we as Scott Brown Realty or can have the ability to submit to you another proposal, because when we were working, back in 2016, 2017, we had public meetings to say what does the community want, and then we will build that, because it's all about collaboration and listening to this. And this has gotten me more excited, because this is amazing. Like, it's really awesome to see your community come out and do this stuff. And when we were working, back in 2016, 2017 with the previous county commissioners, they were saying, I want jobs. We need jobs because we're at a negative growth rate. People are leaving because there are no jobs. We're like, okay, great. What do you want to come in? So we would like the opportunity to submit to you another proposal with the community support. And we are 100% capable of listening to the community. And what we would also like to do is grant you a wish.
We already have PSC. We don't want proposals. We want PSC.
All right, guys.
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap this up. We have plenty.
Buckhorn, bad people on the string with their hands up for sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah, where's Buckhorn this whole time?
John Patel.
online. Who's that?
So John.
John, are you unmute? Hello.
And then Danny Cook.
Did he just go away or did he come back?
No, he's on there.
John,
John,
Hit your
you're
mute button.
muted.
okay, well,
John, you there?
maybe step away.
Still can't hear you.
Are there others in there?
Daniel Kick.
Oh, he's on the Daniel Kick.
Who's next?
Dan, you guys can hear me?
Daniel?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I live at 439 Crossfire Lane, Raspberry Mountain, between Cuchera and Levita. I have been in the community since about 2011, and so I just have a simple question. So, I'm hearing this understanding that your board, previously seated, voted to give the deed back to the Cuchera Foundation. Is that correct or not correct?
I'm asking somebody on the commission to answer that.
Is
Is
it-
it your understanding that you guys voted to do that?
It wasn't that straightforward the way that was. It was
Okay,
supposed
so
to
go ahead, please.
concert with
Hey.
legal advice to find out if the DOLA grant would be able to transfer and do all of those different things. There are things that had to be found out before we could even look at that. And I said that we were waiting to find out on that to be able to decide. That's where the paper got it wrong. They didn't say it the right way. And so and then now we're down this road.
To review that.
So your understanding is that you did not vote to give the lease back to the Kuchera Foundation, the deed back to the Kuchera Foundation. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that considering both votes?
I think if we could just.
Commissioner Sport Leader would like a line to set conditions expressing the direction is now to determine if the transfer of deed is legal without going through competitive process after it was voted on to transfer the deed. Meeting minutes from January 27th.
Do you know that
So-
if words mean things? You see the if in that
So now
sentence?
this direction, it doesn't matter that the direction wasn't followed, it was what was voted on.
And the intent.
So my question, excuse me,
The intent was to transfer.
excuse me,
It should be.
Okay, so
Okay,
excuse me, am I still on?
yeah.
So my question is, if the board did not vote, in your opinion, to grant the deed back to the Kuchera Foundation, how are you saying that you're voting, this new resolution is overturning that? You wouldn't have to overturn it because you never gave it to them.
Great question.
Yeah.
Bring up the resolution.
You aware?
In this right now.
I'm looking at the resolution again to,
It's the last line item of the resolution where it says that the vote will cancel.
yeah, the transfer of the Kuchera Mountain Park to the Kuchera Foundation is canceled as of February 27th, 24. Because that process was in the past and we were working on trying to get with the two people that were going to be involved with that. Buckhorn didn't want to have anything to do with the when I asked them specifically with Brett and PSC if they would work together, and they said yes. And so it's like, go forth and figure out a deal and then bring it back to us, which we don't have. This was just to clarify what was going on, some of the different things that have been thrown out there.
But words
Didn't you
do
just say
matter.
words matter?
Words matter.
Yeah.
It says that it will cancel that vote.
Can we just see the video from last year?
it's on
Can
YouTube.
we post this?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
But your words
There's
matter,
a lot
that's what it
of
says.
people
there,
who
cancel the
haven't been able to find them, and all this should be public.
If you can't find it, we will talk to my IT person. He'll find it. and make sure it's okay. It should be on YouTube.
And there's two of them.
Can we?
Okay, we need to move on.
Are you gonna table this or not?
Okay, this is a
We're not
public
there.
comment section. We haven't got to the part of the meeting where we can actually do that. So if you let us continue, we can get back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, we have appointments. Recognizing Lou Ray King. She here? Hey, Lou Ray.
So are we allowed to make another public comment?
No, public comments are over right now.
It wasn't about this topic. It wasn't
What?
about this topic.
Luray or what? No, we're moving on to Luray, giving Luray, a commendation for her years of service. Oh, good Lord.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, could you read it?
Okay.
It's-
My voice is a little bit louder than Carl's is this morning, so, excuse me, sir, you need to tone it down just a smidgen, okay? You're interrupting and you're causing a ruckus where there doesn't really need to be one. So I would appreciate it, because we're here to recognize Lou Ray. She's done a lot of good in this community.
Thank you.
So from Huerfano County, Colorado, presented to Lou Ray King for her dedication of 16 years of service to the Huerfano County Board of Health. Your years of service are greatly appreciated. We will miss you, and I want to thank you personally.
Thank you.
And the Clean Energy County Proclamation, John Freeburg.
Hey, John, you're up for the Clean Energy County Proclamation.
About you, that if you heard.
Friends and then. All right, my name is John Freeburg. I live at 1922 County Road 650, and I am the lead trainer at CQ Training. As many of you know, HB 25-1040 has passed all of the hurdles required, and it is destined to be signed by the governor in very short order. And so I'd like to encourage the county to declare itself a nuclear-friendly county. In the future, we know that Colorado has declared that it will be 100% renewable by 2050, and by 2030 have to be 50% renewable energy reliant. At the same time, our electrical needs are scheduled to double in the next 10 years. In order to do that, solar, wind are not going to be able to accomplish that. Coal and natural gas have to be phased out. So nuclear energy is a prime source of electricity, and it can be done at both a small scale level and large scale level. Having said all of that, that's not really what I'm here about. I'm here about jobs. I'm here about success of this county. This county has an opportunity right now to step to the forefront and encourage the state of Colorado to see us as a place to put a nuclear power plant. Nuclear power is not what people think it used to be. It's not what it used to be. It's not what people think it is. We don't use water to cool the core anymore. The core is made up of small balls rather than large rods. There are significant setbacks over the past 20 or 30 years, but most of those hurdles have been cleared. You'll find that the nation is nuclear friendly. The state is about to be declared itself nuclear friendly, and somebody's going to get these power plants. The county that gets these power plants is going to have, I'd say at a minimum, 20 to 30 high-paying jobs, not minimum wage jobs, not service jobs, but high-paying jobs. But only 20% of those have to be nuclear trained at a college. And so what I'd like to do is our company will step up and seek grants and start to train young people in high school, young people that have just finished high school, in running and operating and working at nuclear power plants, so that when Colorado does declare itself nuclear friendly, and when Huerfano County gets recognized as wanting to be nuclear friendly,
that power plant can come down here. What follows that is going to be data centers. And they're all going to be out there on the plains. There's not going to be like massive amounts of traffic. This is a low density sort of situation. We use SMRs, which are small modular reactors. They take up the footprint of about a typical house, a home that you would build. And all of those things lend themselves to being very, very productive for our county. Our county could be back in the energy business like we were back in the coal days. It's much less dangerous than coal, than energy. If you look on, pardon me, I should get my act together, sorry. If you look on this sheet right here, and I can provide that electronically, nuclear is 476 nuclear metric tons easier on CO2 emissions than any other sort of energy source. The next page talks about safety. The only thing safer than nuclear is solar and wind, but solar and wind both require nature's power source to work, and they're not reliable. They can work sometimes, can't work sometimes. Battery technology is not where it needs to be. So Colorado will make their goal of 50% renewable by the year 2030. The Comanche coal plant is scheduled to be retired 22 years early, and it will be retired by 2030. When that happens, the only way to make up that energy is through nuclear, and Colorado has recognized that. I spoke with Representative Winter. He says that you guys have already declared that you have an interest in nuclear power. That is a huge thing for this county. That could bring the entire county turning around. But either way, we're going to be consumers of nuclear energy, or we're going to be creators of nuclear energy. And if we're only consumers of nuclear energy, we're destined to stay exactly where we are. But if we become consumers of nuclear energy or creators of nuclear energy, we are in good shape. We will be, and all the ancillary things that comes around. We'll have restaurants. People will have to come down. The hotels will be full. Everything is going to be better, right? I mean, nothing's perfect, and I can't promise. This doesn't even guarantee that they'll put the plant here. But the only way we're going to even get started is to declare this county a nuclear-friendly county. To that end, I proposed a proclamation, and then the return proclamation is absolutely fine. But I think it's absolutely necessary that if we get in on the ground floor, we can be the leading edge of the nuclear technology. And it's going to be good for everybody economically. So I know there are discussions yet to be had, and I don't dodge those discussions at all. I'll be happy to discuss that. But I absolutely encourage the county and the commissioners to approve the proclamation rating us a nuclear-friendly county. That will be our first step towards being a economically successful county once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I make a motion to accept proclamation 25-02, declaring Huerfano County a clean energy county.
I'll second the motion.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for it.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Chairman Spillier?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yeah. I think we skipped a few things with Mr. Chair. We need to go back up to the Museum of Friends and then the permit and licenses.
On mine, it's below.
Oh,
So the different, yeah, public hearing, CDBG revolving loan fund. Is your name?
Dan?
Mine is
Yeah, there's a late one.
on the updated version. Oh, they were both in the same email, so now I'm on the updated version. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, Carl. My name is Dan Cinto. I'm the Small Business Loan Fund Director for the San Luis Valley Development Resource Group. And I'm here today to present a citizen participation plan with the end goal of being able to enroll Huerfano County into the 6 counties that our organization currently represents. A little bit of history. The program has been around for about 35 years. The purpose of the program is to provide access to capital for small businesses. The way that would work is our loan fund would meet with your businesses to find if they would be able to qualify for funding from us that comes to us in the form of a grant. And then we lend it to the businesses. As the money comes back to us, it becomes part of our revolving loan fund and allows us to help businesses in the future. We were approached by DOLA about 6 or 8 months ago when they realized that Huerfano County did not have access to this program. So they looked at the other 14 regions in the state to see which region it would make most sense to try to serve Huerfano County. And at that meeting, I suggested that Region 8 does it. That's who I represent, the San Luis Valley Development Resource Group. So Carl and I have been working on a grant application in conjunction with a contract amendment, which will allow us to provide services to this county in the cities within it and businesses within it. As part of that process, the citizen participation plan has been posted, and I'm here today to answer any questions of the commissioners, community at large, if they have any questions about this program, pros or cons, or just need to know more details.
Yes, I do have a question. It's.
Can you come up to the mic for me? Yeah, people online can hear you.
My question would be the pass-through rate of your program, meaning how many dollars to make it through the people that are received, and how much is spent, just like a regular
Administration and things like that.
Yes.
Yep, got that right here. So since the inception of this program, the DRG has provided $7,587,306.25 in total assistance. Of that, $1,046,525 was administration expense, meaning that the businesses received $6,540,781.25. That's a ratio of 16%.
Great. And then what kind of interest rates, being that we are one of the poorest counties?
Yep, and we represent, yeah. So we typically lend to businesses at a rate generally lower than the bank, but not a lot. So historically, we close our loans at prime minus a quarter, prime minus 0.5. The problem is prime's high right now. So, you know, our recent history, though, we closed a lot of loans at 4, perhaps 4 quarters. So we are at mercy to the market.
I understand you base that on a 10-year, like a mortgage loan.
We go off of WSJP prime.
Okay. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Correct. And we also look at it on a case-by-case basis too. The difference between borrowing money from us and the way we deploy capital versus a traditional lending source of bank is we don't do loans for the sake of an interest income. We do the loans for the businesses to create and retain jobs and look at it as economic development impetus. We always try to partner with local banks to leverage their dollars into whatever project we're working on. But to that point, banks are incumbent to earn interest and increase shareholder value. We don't have shareholders. We work for the public. So to that point, we are judged by how many jobs we create every day.
Thank you for being knowledgeable, and that pass-through rate is beneficial to people.
Absolutely. Great question. Great question. I was going to bring up these statistics next, but we've already gone through them. So, commissioners, Carl, any questions?
Well,
great question.
yeah.
I was thinking of. Yeah, I just want to tell you that I've been in lending for 35 years, 10 years in nonprofit lending, and having the state having this program available to its rural communities has made a huge difference. One of the statistics that I did not give out is that in the course of us operating this program, we have created or retained 972 jobs in that low to moderate income category, 600. So all of our counties are, think of Costilla, another poor county. We work with Mineral County, we work with Rio Grande. And yeah, those are some fantastic numbers.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right. No
Very
other
good.
questions? I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So do we need a motion on that to accept that?
Yeah, if you check out on your packets, page.
It's in the action.
Yeah, page 23. There's some ordering things here that I didn't fix. Apologies for that. So the motion is actually on page 39. The requested motion, I should say.
I'll make a motion to approve the application to the Department of Local Affairs for the county to join the Region 8 CBDG Business Loan Fund and ratify the signatures on the grant documents.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Chairman Spillier?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right.
Okay, and then Museum of Friends. Maria? Yep.
Yes, Museum of Friends.
Hello, I'm Maria Catrielli Berger, and I reside at 6505 State Highway 12. And this is my husband, Carl Brent Berger. He resides there with me. And this is Heather Hernandez, our newest hire.
And I reside on County Road 620 in Gardner.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here because we like crowds and we weren't expecting this. We're very happy you're all here because we are in the business of tourism. And 2 Saturdays ago, we had a family who were so not like anybody who's walked into the museum before, and they were on their way to Wolf Creek to ski. He was from Montreal and she was from Vancouver, and their children were amazing. As soon as they walked in, the first thing they said is, "Where is the donation box?" Strange for us. We've been here for 20 years, and we have created tourism in Walsenburg. When we opened, people said, "You'll never keep an art museum in Walsenburg. You will see." And these were artists, friends of ours. But unfortunately, when people tell me no, that's when I get really excited. So we are here for a really great announcement, and it's the 3 of us. So everybody give each other a hug. We're going to Denver because we've been acknowledged by the Colorado Business and Arts Alliance for doing what everybody was talking about here today, creating jobs, creating enthusiasm, having a place open in Walsenburg 12 months out of the year, 5 days out of the week is not typical. A lot of businesses just, close at a certain time and go home because they have no customers. We never do that unless someone is ill. So we were here to express our thanks for all of you who've supported the museum. I could look at everyone here and you all support the museum, but we are at another level now. We are exiting. Brent and I are and I started making art again because I'm an artist. I'm not a fundraiser, believe that or not. And we are going to move on to have a life again. And we hope that Heather will be taking it over. And in this process, we are moving closer to where we started. It's almost like a circle. We were the first place that offered yoga. And in the old days, there wasn't a lot of stuff on the second floor. And the yoga teacher was Ella Evans' mother, and Arlene Facabrino from Colorado City. Many of you know the Facabrinos. There's a beautiful portrait of them, Emma and Joe, in the county courthouse, the new one, at our gracious, not donation, but loan. And that was by Zoe Childerley, who was here in 2012. We're still working with History Colorado. We're sort of at a stuck point, and it has to do with what you were talking about. Having a nonprofit and having rules with donors is very difficult. And sometimes you can't move forward because you have to do what they want legally. And because they gave us more than $500,000 at this point, we have to sign an agreement, and it's holding us up. But that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to say, I understand your struggle, that's all. But why we're here is because we started yoga in 2006. We've been here for 20 years, since 2005. And we realized that this community needs healing. And I was so happy to see you in the park and doing arm wrestling. I had to paint, so I couldn't arm wrestle. But the more that people come out in the streets and we have activities and we support each other. I know there's a schism between Walsenburg, Levita, and Kuchara, but I don't feel that. I want people to get along and work together. And I also want to express that we need help. We need the tourism revenue from lodging and the taxes. The what's the other one? Lodging and tourism. We need that, and we're working with the school in Pueblo. It's called the Hassan School. Business School. I'm on the board of the United Way in Pueblo, and one of the board members is working with me on this. And it is an accredited association to advance collegiate schools of business. My student, Marissa Martinez, was 4. She's at CSU Pueblo in Boulder now, in Pueblo, sorry. And she's working with them on doing an internship to figure out how we could lobby so that the tourism monies, not all of it, a portion, goes to keep the Museum of Friends open. We've come a long way to get to this point, and the circle part with the yoga and the hand wrestling is art and mental health is such a big deal. We live in a very fractured world, not just Walsenburg, the world. And what we do there is we make people feel welcome and we try to help them. And we do that through art. And I don't think so why we're here is to invite one of the commissioners or the administrator or someone to sit at our table on April 22nd at the Colorado Business and Arts Alliance while we accept the award for creating jobs, business opportunities, and most important, educational opportunities.
The expectation is there will be probably about 750 attendees for the event. There will be a film played for all of the different awardees. And the Museum of Friends received the award in the Arts and Business Partnership. So there will be quite a few people, leaders from across state government, and in addition to leaders in the arts and business and creative industries. So we'd love to have a representative of both Huerfano County, and we'll also offer and extend the same invitation to the city as well for them to have a representative and an opportunity to be represented there. It will be on April 22nd, and a luncheon at the Denver Performing Center for the Arts. And we actually raised $750 of the $250 that we needed for 2,000. 2,000 for the table. And then we will have an ad in the program announcing the leadership opportunity. Since there will be so many people from the arts and business industry, we're hoping that it'll give us an opportunity to locate a successor for the founders of the museum. In addition to what Maria was mentioning about the yoga, we've embarked on a prevention project for art and mental health. It's open to everybody. We're doing a lot of weekend, Saturday, open studio time. We've got healing circles with an art component attached and poetry. And as we solidify this business partnership with CSU and this internship, we'll be offering leadership and other business type classes as well, in particular to help people learn how to brand themselves and create opportunities for business viability through their art.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. Now I'm putting on my fundraising hat, and as Heather mentioned, the table is $2,000 and we raised $750. So we are here also to ask for and whatever you can donate because it's a good cause. Thank you.
And I would like to add that the gathering, the lunch, where we will be honored, is an opportunity to network with business leaders, government leaders. I think the governor will be in attendance and speak. So that's what we're doing in Walsenburg, and big ramification.
So circling back, what I'd like to end with is that we are an example of how business and art and community works. We need the support of economic development. We need the support of the county. We can't do this alone anymore. We have a lot of people working there, a lot of costs, a lot of overhead, and we really need your help. So I'm just making an introduction to another wider conversation where we figure out how we could keep the Museum of Friends in Walsenburg. We don't want it to go anywhere. And as my lovely mother, Lorraine, congratulations, said, you can't take it with you. And we're leaving it for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother.
We maybe like that. I'll make a motion for it. I'll make a motion for that. Yeah, get the. Okay. Save our.
I'll make a motion to match half of the funds request of
Museum of Friends.
Museum of Friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. What do we have in before we?
I don't think we've touched that community development fund yet, but there is that request from SCCY that's pending too.
Oh, yeah. What was the total dollar amount again?
2,000.
2,000. Yes.
Yes, it'll be 1,000.
I'm going to do 1,000.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion to approve half of it in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Also vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Chairman Spillier?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
And yes, is that it from there? On permits, licenses, and public hearings.
All right, Commissioners, I have a liquor license renewal for Timbers Restaurant.
Commissioners, they've submitted their renewal paperwork on time. We're going to
any kind of reports and everything is outstanding.
I make a motion to accept the liquor license renewal for the Timbers Restaurant.
Second the motion?
First and a second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right.
Action.
All right, Commissioners, first I have for you a resolution number 25-15, a resolution appointing Lonnie Brown to the Arkansas Basin Roundtable for a term expiring on December 31st, 2029.
I will make a motion approving resolution number 25-16, affirming.
15.
Sorry, 15, appointing Lonnie Brown to the Arkansas Basin.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Next, I have for you a resolution number 25-16, a resolution affirming the importance of the Parker Fitzgerald Catamount Park to the Huerfano County Parks and Recreation Program.
I make a motion to table resolution number 25-16, affirming the importance of Kuchera Mountain Park.
I will second the motion.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the
I would like to clarify a few things. So I'm willing to table this for the time being to give clarifications to the motions that were made last year so that we can figure out, okay, so that the public can understand fully what those motions were about before we actually pass this resolution. The other thing that we have to weigh when we're considering the Kuchera Mountain Park, and I understand a lot of people made a lot of donations to that, $150,000, but we also have to weigh the $300,000+ of taxpayer money that has been spent in just matches for the grants. Grants are also taxpayer money as well. So I would be amiss to just say, oh yeah, let's just turn it over to whoever we want to. So I have to consider that as well. But for now, I'm willing to table this to give further clarification.
first and second, and call for the vote.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners. Next, we have here an ordinance number 25-01, an ordinance adopting by reference and enacting a new Huerfano County Code for Huerfano County, Colorado, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, providing for the adoption of secondary codes by reference, providing a penalty for the violation thereof, providing for the manner of amending such code, and providing when such code and this ordinance shall become effective. So, Commissioners, this 1,000-page binder that is on your desk is the Huerfano County Code, at least in draft form. It will be online. We don't have a final digital version for that, because I think when they put together, they put it into like the online format that they'll give us once we approve this ordinance. But we'll leave this. We'll put a notice into the paper and on the website about it, and we'll have this available in one of the county offices for people to come by and peruse. But it's a few decades worth of resolutions, mostly, a few ordinances that constitute the rules of Huerfano County. And this process started in 2021. So it's been a long time coming, but the whole idea is that the resolutions and rules that the county has and imposes on both itself and on people that live here, do business here, should be easily available to the public in a format that's findable and referable to. The biggest chunk of that is the land use code. That's online already, but there's everything from ambulance regulations to trash regulations to model traffic code, all sorts of things that, unless you know where to look, it's difficult to find, and also be a nice, one convenient place going forward.
Then I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-01, an ordinance adopting a Huerfano County Code.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion?
So I know this is hopefully your first time dealing with an ordinance. When you adopt it at the first reading, which is this, it goes in the paper, it's published in full. And then, well, it's not your first time, you don't.
Many times.
And then 10 days after publication, assuming 10 days after publication comes back to you for final approval, which gets it published in the paper, usually by title only or sometimes in full, again. So you'll see this in about 2-3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Question from Dee?
Dee has her hand on that. Dee has her hand on that.
Oh. Dee, or do you have your hand up?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for taking my question. I would just like some understanding, Chair Spore Leader. And first, Carl, maybe I'll ask you this. So what is in the county fund where you give out donations to the community? What's the dollar amount in there?
So we budgeted, I don't have my budget in front of me right now, but I believe around $15,000 for that. To call it a fund might be a little bit weird because there are various pots the commissioners in the past and could now take money out of. And it's a little bit more fungible than like say the city has that fund where they collect for youth activities. It's a little more flexible than that. So, but I think what I'm thinking of when you ask me that question is the money that's in PILT for community development, and that's I think 15,000.
Okay, thank you for that. So I guess my question is, Chair Spore Leader, last week, I believe it was, SCCY did come before the commission asking for some money, and you needed to table that. Never made a recommendation of giving them half of the ask, but yet today you gave to Museum of Friends, and I don't have anything against them. I'm just wondering, how do you make those decisions?
We were just looking at the when people have put in payment into their, she already had talked about how they raised $750, and we'd like to see that somebody actually had done some of the work ahead of time, and then we'll help out at that half rate many times. So that was, they hadn't had a or I don't remember, did they have much money in the coffers yet? We wanted to match what they were going to be able to get because we weren't going to be able to do the whole amount. That was a lot higher amount.
They started a fundraiser, I believe, but I was going to ask you later on in this meeting if you wanted to make a motion about that to give us direction again. I wasn't trying to put it on there as an action item, so I figured I'd ask you guys for a motion in my staff section. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it just wasn't put on the paperwork today.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that during the action item, or I mean at your time?
Well, you got a motion on the floor now. We probably want to close out, but I mean, you guys can make a motion whenever we want to, whether at the end or I was going to prompt you at the end.
Okay. Motion for that.
We got to finish this motion first.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan.
First of all, the county code, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, no, because yeah. Sorry. Is that all? Okay. I have first and second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Chairman Spolier?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Do you guys want to make a motion on that now? Or you want to come back to it?
I'll do it now over here. I just got to get up to a
So Dee, we'd already discussed this in the past, and so what the board had decided was that we were willing to meet half of what they had requested, up to half, and we would match the funds raised in their for what they could bring before us. And the total amount of, I believe, was 3,500 or whatever half of 7,500 is. And so with that, I will make a motion to match whatever funds they raised to the amount of up to
3,250.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original amount they asked for was $7,500.
Yes, so half of that.
We have a second.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion or change?
For SCBC board.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Call for vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Chairman Spillier?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. All right, Commissioners, on January 27th, 2025, the county released RFP 2025-02 seeking proposals from qualified firms of certified public accountants to provide general accounting services, including but not limited to county general ledger maintenance, month-end closing, and updates to internal controls. The proposal was due on February 21st, 2025, and we received 6 submissions. A committee consisting of county staff and officials reviewed the proposals and decided to recommend Redlands Accounting and Advisory for award.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the award of accounting services RFP 2025-02 to Redlands Accounting and Advisory LLC.
I will second the motion.
First and second, any other discussion?
So Commissioners, I have actually included the letter of engagement in here as well. It is starting on page 67. You're in the non-updated one?
No, I'm still, I think
Mhm.
it's because my screen's small.
Yeah.
But I have letter of engagement there as well, so if I can get a motion as well, either after this or as part of it to approve the letter of engagement, and we can get started and keep a roll on.
What was the page number again?
67 of the updated packet.
Jim, do you want to include that in your motion?
Yes, I will do that. So I will motion to accept the proposal from Redlands County Advisory and the engagement objectives and scope.
I will second that.
First and second, any other discussions? Call for vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodall?
Yes.
Chairman Spillier?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you, guys. All right, next I have your request from Huerfano County Dispatch. For extension of the existing overtime period from which expired March 10th to continue through June 28th, 2025 for Communications Center staff to cover training new hires and dispatcher who will be out on FMLA.
I will make a motion to approve the requested overtime for emergency services staff from January 1st, 2025 to March 10th, 2025.
You go to page 82. I think that yes, that was the previous one that wasn't included in here.
Okay.
We need to make sure that these things get into the right order so that the cover memo with the actual request is first. So yeah, page 82.
So the new one is from June 28th, 2025?
June 28th.
All right, I amend my motion to add, to remove March for June 28th, 2025.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for a vote.
Right, Commissioner Chamberlain.
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell.
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next I have for you a hunting lease agreement between the county and Colorado Mountains and Plains Outfitters.
I will make a motion to table the hunting lease agreement from Colorado Mountains Plains Outfitters until we have more information about possibly using comparable numbers for the hunting lease itself.
So for clarification,
Yeah, it's not the full ranch. It's only a small portion of it.
500 acres.
It's about 500 acres.
it's only 500 acres.
500 acres.
It's not the full ranch.
Okay. And
Also, this is in, I make second the motion. This is in his original. It was in the RFP. It says that he can hunt and he can allow commercial hunting on there if the BOCC approves it. So,
So the county did not solicit this.
right. We did not solicit this at all. We're not trying to make money off of this. This is us giving the current leasee of the land permission to hunt it.
okay, and so, I've only been in this position for 2 months and 10 days now. So I will make a motion, right, to amend my motion.
Keep going.
To accept the Colorado Mountain Swings and Outfitters hunting lease agreement.
So. Oh, wait, can I have a second? Before I give them a little.
I will second the motion.
So the spiel I always give is if you're not 100% comfortable with something, wait, we can give you more information. So I
was fine because I had got all the other stipulations with the contractor that we were covered as the county, and the price to what they were doing is not, they're not even doing it as like some of the other hunters are.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it.
I'm willing to table it for now until you get more information.
Yeah, I'd be happy to check that one.
No, for Jim.
Okay.
If you want to check that one.
Yes, I will check. So I amend my motion to table the Colorado Mountains and Plains Outfitters hunting lease agreement until I can get more information on the lease agreement.
I will second the motion.
First and second.
Clear as mud?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
we had
bottom
a
line.
motion to table, then a new motion to table, then going back to that original motion. So I think we can just say just a motion to table.
Yep. First and second.
Sorry.
Clean up and post.
I will get better as the
Well, that's
year
all right.
progresses.
Call for a vote.
I do have some discussion. So, this will come back up on them, but I'm willing to table this for Jim to understand why we have to go this way.
Sounds good. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Woodell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. Alrighty then. Commissioners, next I have for you a general assignment agreement between the county and Colorado Huntsman Transport LLC. This is for the sheriff's office to do out-of-state prisoner transports. Rather than sending deputies or detention officers themselves, they'll contact this company that's fully bonded and insured for that kind of work. There's not a contract per se with this company. So what this really is it's essentially a credit application to open up an account. So we're not getting a loan or anything like that, but it's we're just opening an account with them. And sometimes they open accounts in the form of a credit application. So it's a little weird.
Not a motion.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the Huntsman Transport General Assignment Acknowledgement.
First, have a second. Have a second.
Second, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No,
I didn't hear. Um, First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell?
Yes.
Chairman Sport Leader? Motion passes.
I just wasn't sure that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I
I
heard
know.
it or not. I wasn't sure. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I didn't hear either.
All right, Commissioner, next to have for you an amendment to purchase order 2025-025 HRS Colorado LLC. So this is for our 129 Kansas project for asbestos removal. So we're adding some, you guys a couple of weeks ago approved change order one for this project, and a few weeks before that approved the actual work. But what's happened is they've discovered a few things here and there they weren't expecting to discover as they've done demolition, so there's been more asbestos found. And then the last one, change order 5, which I mentioned to you guys last week, is because when they're actually going through the work of putting in the structural steel, they thought where they thought it would need to go was a little bit off from where they actually need it to go, which is right above a lead and asbestos pipe. So we'd request your approval to up the total amount of that purchase order to $220,840. I'll be approving all 4 of the new change orders that you haven't previously approved, and allow us to keep that project rolling along. I think this does put us a little over budget for asbestos work, but I think we will make that up other places. For the removal of that line, for instance, the county staff are digging out the line, so it's gonna cost more, but I think we can make up the difference.
I make a motion to approve the updated purchase order 2025-25 for HRS Colorado.
I'll second the motion. It's online.
Well, first and second, any other discussion?
Question.
D, is that a question on this?
We got a letter. Hold on a second.
Thank you. My mic keeps getting turned off and it takes me a while to accept it and reactivate it. So my question is when a property is sold like that, isn't it supposed to be disclosed if there's asbestos?
You are correct. And the hospital did provide asbestos disclosure. There is more asbestos than they thought was there. But this is one of the reasons why they moved the women's clinic out of there, was because of the asbestos. Commissioner at the time decided that this building was a good choice because it's already off the tax rolls, things like that. And I don't think that we thought there would be this much asbestos in there. So that's another portion as well. But at this point, we're in for a penny, in for a pound.
So you made a comment, the commissioner at the time, did she receive commission on that sale?
Oh, God, no. I did all the work for that.
Okay.
Through the commission.
Thank you.
Can we correct that?
Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Call for a vote.
All right. I don't know who made the motion, so I'm just going to go Commissioner Waddell.
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain. Yes. Chairman Sport Leader.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Next I have for you, purchase order number 2025-055 in the amount of $9,787.26. This is our renewal for Granicus. This is the software that land use currently uses to accept online permits. This is hopefully the last year of having to pay Granicus, as we hopefully will transition to Tyler with land use sooner rather than later. So request your approval. This is a budgeted expense. So we have it budgeted in the land use budget.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the Granicus purchase order 2025-0554 Gracious Market Program in the amount of $9,787.26.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Trimble,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, last up in action items, I have a letter to the city of Walsenburg. I see we have some distinguished visitors from the city, so maybe they'd like to come up and we can have a little discussion.
Yeah. Good morning. Or afternoon, lunch.
Getting close.
Yeah.
Almost there, 2 minutes.
So we received notice that you guys are gonna basically stop service March 31st due to a materials breach, correct? I'm Joe Stillwell, City Administrator, City of Walsenburg, sorry.
Yeah, we March 31st isn't the date. I think you did get that notification of March 31st probably from the sheriff's office. But looking at the agreement, April 8th is the date that we'd have to give the city to correct that issue.
Okay.
So while I have you, we part of the reason for this letter is we haven't received either the February or March payment.
Correct.
And we heard at the last meeting, we heard Gary say that, you guys are done paying the county, which,
Yeah,
that's
all up to date.
it's a little painful, but it is what it is. If that's, I heard a lot of complaints about the sheriff's office. I don't know if you guys have spoken to Bruce about them or not, but if you guys are to the point where you don't need us anymore, especially if you guys have staffed up a whole lot quicker than I think anybody expected. Why keep this going? We can just end this and we can keep working together and
Sure.
do everything we can to make something happen.
March 31st will be fully staffed.
Right.
In accordance to the amortization of the original contract. It appears we owe you $34,000 for the February payment. And March looks like $22,430. So you got some AP ready to cut that. So you guys will be paid up. We'll be fully staffed by the end of March.
All right, so do we want to end the agreement as of March 31st or
Yeah, we
pick a
could
date?
do, March 31st, maybe not. Because
Yeah.
April 1st is when we'll actually be fully staffed, 24/7 coverage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you guys, at least from what I've seen, and granted, I'm just a resident here, looks like we have a good police force coming in, and it's exciting to see you guys out there and handling stuff. So, yeah, and we'll continue to support you guys however we can.
And anything we can do as well.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. So now we don't need to send this letter then.
I think so.
All right. Do you want to have Hyatt draft up the amendment to the contract, or yeah? All right.
So I'll just email that over to you and we'll go from there.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming.
All right. Well, that's the end of action items. Unless you guys want to. I
Wow.
don't think that requires a vote there for we're good to go with the city.
They definitely got it, but moving quicker than figured.
Yeah, there's going to be some budgetary pain there, but that's our next figure out moment.
Yeah. Yep.
Eric,
Hello? Unmute, Eric.
Yeah. Technology and me get along. So the city will end up paying how much to you for February?
So February sounded like the full amount, or no, 34,000 in February, and then 22,000 in March.
34,000 in February and 22,000 for March.
Yep. And Robert here has the numbers written down, so he can send you a quick note with those numbers in there.
Okay. I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Where are we? Correspondence?
Correspondence.
All right. First up, I have for you a letter from San Isabel Electric. They have given us $1,000 for the fireworks show for this year. Thank you, Kim. Then I have a letter from the Men's Health Network requesting a proclamation for Men's Health Month or Men's Health Week in June of this year. Do you guys want to do that?
It is. I read it earlier, a couple of days ago, but they're fresh.
On page 105.
Recommended by Congress. The week leading up to and including Father's Day, June 9th to the 15th, 2025. I would like us to urge us to issue a proclamation in support of Men's Health Month or Men's Health Week.
Yeah, probably 61 have to another.
So we'll do a Women's Health Month too later.
Sure.
Yes.
Just so that we cover all bases.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just making a note.
The next I have you a letter from Claude and Patricia Savage opposing development at Cacharman Park. And that is the end of correspondence.
Okay. On the staff reports.
All right, commissioners.
If I may, real quick. Because I see Robert McClellan back there. And he approached me at Charlie's Market in Molito a week ago and talking about communications in Huerfano County. And this also might be a good thing for Robert. And Robert, if you can come up and speak, you're very much more eloquent than I am explaining your radio systems.
I spoke with
over at the microphone, please.
Hi, I'm Bob McClellan. I'm at 49 Cougar Ridge in Kuchera. And I spoke with Carl and let him know I was going to send an email representing the Amateur Radio Emergency Services, which I'm a member, Region 5, District 2, which represents Pueblo and Huerfano counties. And I was going to fire off an email yesterday. Our district director asked me to hold off on that. Evidently, he's been in contact with Ross Hallahan and Robert Gilbert. I'm not. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Mike Condor, who grew up here in Walsenburg, is our district director. And so he'll be coordinating with Robert and Ross, but we're requesting a small area, maybe 50 square feet, in the EOC on the third floor for our communications equipment here. We have a comparable area at the Pueblo Sheriff's Communications EOC. And we're a state organization, national organization. We have a state director and numerous regions and districts around the area, and we function during national and local disasters to augment the official communications and work in conjunction with state Oxcom to provide emergency traffic around the state and around the country. We operate UHF, VHF, and high frequency, long wave type, long distance communications as well. So I won't get into the details of what we need because it sounds like Mike's already talked to Robert and Ross. But we appreciate your support for our efforts here in Huerfano County.
Thank you, Robert.
And I've actually participated in the one in EOC in Pueblo. So that was really a nice experience.
Were you up there last October?
No, it was quite a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was more active with it.
We had a what's called a SET, simulated emergency test last October. And I was up on Capitol Hill in my vehicle with communications equipment, keeping in contact with various stations around the state.
Yep, that's nice. It's good to be prepared.
Well, we're here to serve, and in the event of an emergency, and we've also done several local events like the Rubicon. We helped out with it. The bicycle ride up in Pueblo last year. We were providing communications for that ride. So we get involved in a lot of different communications exercises where they need augmented communications to support the events.
Yeah, that's nice. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, admin staff report. The auto mechanic position closes on Friday, and then next Friday we have the junior appraiser position. Interviews for the county attorney position are coming up in a couple of weeks. I put a few lists of items here. The Safe Streets and Roads for All project is sort of starting to pick up steam a bit, and we'll start having public meetings here in a little bit. And of course, we'll let you guys know when they are so you guys can attend as well. But our goal there, especially for the commissioners that were here when we applied for that about a year or so ago, year more ago, the goal for that is overall safer streets in the county. And the boilerplate that the program talks about is committing to a vision zero preventable deaths on roads. That's of course a very high bar, but
yeah, tell it to the kid that runs through our neighborhood on the bike.
Right, that kid probably appreciates some extra protections and some better design roadways, things like that. And there is money available from the federal government for these kinds of projects, and up to general federal funding as a whole for road and transportation projects if they have a safe streets component. So that's just heads up on that. And then on our Gardner project, we are going to have a public meeting about that at some point in time, but we're trying to get to a place where we can give the public a good idea of where we're at and where we're going. So right now, where we're at is engineers are working on a drainage problem. All of that water sort of comes down off that hill, and it's moving a lot of water. What per se 50 CFS. So he's I think here in town this week to try to look and see and verify if he thinks that that's actually amount of water coming down off the hill, but it presents a drainage problem for development there. an expensive drainage problem. You know, in development, most things are fixable if you want to spend enough money. But I don't think the county wants to spend that kind of money like that. So we're gonna see if there's an affordable solution to it or a practical one. And then we'll have a report back, I think, depending on because I think we're good on most things. This drainage issue is one of the last big hurdles that we need to figure out. That and the geotechnical work. So. All right.
And the first meeting up there is this Wednesday.
Yeah, the first Raymond and Gary meeting is on Wednesday. And then we have our housing meeting, which y'all should have received invites from on Thursday here. Here being community center in Walsenburg. So you should have got that from Carlton and
Yes.
yeah, Courtney. Yeah. Okay, good. That's all I got for you.
Okay.
Well, okay, and nothing from the county attorney?
No.
All right. And no need for executive session?
Nope.
Well, call for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. First and second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Woodall?
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain?
Yes.
Chairman Spoiler?
Yes.
Motion passed.
12:14.